Hello again, it's Garson, and this is going to be a quick guide with the new Circle of the Stars Druid from patch 8. Now, as you can see, I'm already looking very sparkly, and I can change my form at will at higher levels, but there are 3 powerful forms: the dragon, the archer, and the chalice, literal constellations that you can change into and make you very versatile, including giving you free new weapon attacks like the bonus archery attack, as well as free cast of, say, Guiding Bolt, and the Guiding Bolt itself. So there's a lot to get into with this new versatile subclass. So as always, I'm going to bust out the notes for a quick guide to get you in and playing this new subclass, alright? So this is the Circle of the Stars. It's the new subclass at level 2 for Druids. And if you said, I want to wield the power of the stars or take on the literal constellation, the shapes of the stars themselves, this is the subclass for you, right? And of course, a big thank you to everybody watching. I had access to the stress test because of you guys, and I'm just trying to pay it forward. So let's dive right into it. It's going to be quick, and there's a lot of talking and info because I have videos and live streams of playing this on other stuff I'll link, okay? So follow along on the right hand side. If you want to cut around, I try to make it nice and organized. And what is a quick guide? I'm not trying to show you out of all the a million ways I could play this awesome subclass. I'm going to try and give you a really good baseline or standard to play so you can jump in, get to the point, and do your thing really well with a new fun subclass, okay? So I have breakdowns, I have multiclassing builds, all that stuff in other videos, and I'll try and link it for you. But for now, let's just try and get in and have fun. I've played this subclass and beaten in honor mode just as well as the others, and we're going to get right into what is it. So the Star Druid, literally, the subclass focuses on being a versatile mid-range caster, and it specializes in radiant damage, although you do have a lot of options as a druid, right? But you have that awesome starry theme, which really has more mechanical function to it than just theming, right? So what does it actually do, though, in the game? Well, you have full caster slots, because you're a druid, full slots, right? You have 3 awesome, powerful forms, which you can eventually change into at will once per turn. You're very versatile as a druid and these starry forms. You have incredible concentration thanks to the dragon form. There we go. And you have bonus reaction and radiant damage attacks. Even on the dragon form, you have something like this awesome dragon breath using the bonus action, or even a bonus heal on the chalice form, right? And you have a reaction to a bonus reaction ability, kind of like bardic inspiration or cutting words, that could either affect your foes, the woe, or your allies, the wheel. It just depends. It's random per day and long rest, okay? So what about my stats? What are really the most important stats? Well, instead of getting all heady about it, basically wisdom. Wisdom's what you want because it's going to give you your ability to land your spells and your guiding bolts and your bonus action nonsense from the forms, right? So you really want wisdom, and the nice bonus here is there's a defensive saving throw value. You have proficiency in it anyway, so you'll be safe from, say, hold spells, right? So it's going to be bonus accuracy for your spells, bonus accuracy for your subclass, special attacks, and good defensive value. And if I had to start a Star Druid all over again, what I'll do is come over to our Acolyte here, Shadowheart, and I'll respec and go for a new Druid. How about that? To keep things simple without over explaining it, what I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of dump intelligence and charisma. I know you could do a build with 17. Let's go with 16 wisdom so we can get 16 constitution and we can get 2 strength and 14 dex. Strength, I want to carry things and I want to jump and not feel gimped. Dexterity, I actually get a lot of bonuses here, but it stops with medium armor. The bonuses stop at 14, and I want you to wear a medium armor if you don't know much about it, okay? Constitution, this is good HP, good concentration bonuses, but we want to be able to survive, obviously. And then finally, wisdom, I just told you, most important stat, and you can take your skill proficiencies, okay? There we go, and that's how you start it. So while there is a lot of ways to build a character, this is going to be a simplistic way to build one as a baseline, or a really fun way to just jump in, okay? So what about feats, as I'm going to be leveling up at level 4, level 8, and level 12, right? So wisdom's your everything stat. You're actually going to be able to attack with wisdom using a staff and shillelagh, if you didn't already know that. Use your bonus action, and for 10 turns, your stick here is now a wisdom weapon rather than a strength weapon, okay? So take 2 wisdom in the early game. That's going to buff up your chances to do damage with the staff, as well as all your other cool attacks and spells. Alert, I highly recommend at level 8, because this is around the time where you really want initiative bonuses to start every turn as the first person attacking or doing stuff. And with all your versatility, you're really going to want that, okay? After that, you want to take another 2 wisdom, and you can actually total out at 20 wisdom. You can go even further beyond if you know more tips and tricks like the Sharon mirror, okay? So what about equipment? So we're going to do what's called a Radiant Reverb set. This is a luminous armor that gives us the Radiant Shockwave. So Radiant Orbs are awesome. The easiest way I know how to make this is, as you do Radiant damage, you're going to debuff enemies. You're going to give them this condition called Radiant Orbs, and they're going to have a harder time hitting you and your allies, which is awesome. So both the chest, the gloves, and these 2 rings right here are going to play into that, okay? So it's the luminous chest, the luminous gloves, okay? As well as the Callus glow ring and the coruscation ring, okay? All of these play into the whole idea of Radiant Orbs blinding your targets, keeping you safe. It's really great as you do Radiant damage with the bow or your guiding bolts or whatnot. They don't work with Moonbeam, by the way. We'll talk about that. But Stormy Clamor is also great because it gives reverb. I'm not going to go into all this. There's another video about it. But reverb whenever we do another condition. So as we do Radiant Orbs, we also get reverb, which really helps the team. And one of the other binding ways to play into this is the Holy Lance Helm. As targets attack and miss us, they actually will take radiant damage more than likely, plus they'll get Radiant Orbs and reverberation just for attacking us, which is awesome, okay? So, Melf Staff, you're probably going to want to play a staff. Melf Staff in the early game most staff gives you the ability to use it as a weapon with wisdom using your shillelagh, but it also gives you bonuses to your spell attack and spell save, right? Your accuracy for spells. Later on though, in Act 3, you really want something as powerful as the spell power. This gives you the same bonus, but a free cast of any spell, including level 6 spells, right? And it's still a stick you can hit people over the head with, so that's great. And then finally, you probably just want to look for gear that gives you spell bonuses, right? Bonuses, even a shield can give you a bonus to your spell save DC, and that's how mine got up so high with the wisdom bonuses and everything, okay? Lastly, you might want to be a full caster using these restoration amulets, but really amulets, you're going to find a lot of good choices, too much to get into. So what about spell choices? Well, just right off the bat, some of these are spells, some of these aren't, right? If I could pause for a second, the dragon form, while being amazing at concentration, we'll talk about it, you also get this awesome dragon breath area cone spell. It's not a spell though, it's actually a class action, okay? If we switch over to the archery form, now your bonus action is an awesome luminous radiant arrow damage, okay? And then of course, if you switch over to the chalice, whenever you heal, including something, say, healing word on bonus action, the heal from this is actually not a bonus action or an action, it's a free heal, okay? So depending on what form you are, you could actually build your character totally different from me, but these are the key to being versatile and having an awesome time with this subclass. So you are actually going to have to cancel the form and then reapply it using your wild shapes, but at level 10, we can freely change into whatever form we want once per turn. So cantrips, what you want to do is actually obviously pick Shillelagh, but maybe take something like Thorn Whip, because while guidance is amazing, you're going to get it for free in this subclass at level 2 anyway, okay? So you get all these with spells. Just to keep simple, your bread and butter spell is going to be Guiding Bolt. Now that you have it, you can upcast it as you get more spell slots, but you also get star maps, which give you free level 1 spell uses of this, okay? So don't feel free to use these and don't let them go to waste, okay? They let you use other spell slots with other spells. So Guiding Bolt naturally is an awesome choice. Moonbeam, there's a little special thing about this, but this does not get affected by any of the gear we're using whatsoever, but it is basically consistent damage, and you can even recast it and move it somewhere else. I want it over here, for instance. For 10 turns, I can keep casting it with my action button. And whoever starts or enters that is going to take damage, either half or full, depending on a saving throw, but it's always damage. Sunbeam is really powerful. You concentrate on this for 10 turns, and you do like a Kamehameha wave. Boom! And for some reason, concentration isn't working on it. I've reported that, sorry. Thunder Wave is great for pushing, walls and terrain. You know this stuff. Wall fire. Insect, but a really great early game one is Spike Growth, by the way. These help you control the battlefield. There's also the awesome Dryad for being a druid. Dryad actually lets you make that Spike Growth every single round of combat. So I can keep casting Spike Growth, this massive area, and I don't even have to concentrate on it. The Dryad does. So awesome. We have elementals. I highly recommend Air Elemental. It's my favorite. Okay, and you can even upcast these at higher levels. But Free movement is excellent. It's going to keep you or an ally from being paralyzed and ignore that difficult terrain. So you could use free movement in conjunction with, say, plant growth's quarter movement and just run around the flower field and laugh at everybody while they get stuck in it. And then finally, there's Feast, which is a great benefit to your whole team. At the beginning of the day, just look into it. Gives you a lot of extra HP and some other bonuses, okay? So, how did I actually play this subclass in Honor mode? Well, in the third act, Astarion got really pissy and left my entire team, including all my cool Reverb and Radiant Orb gear. So, make sure you're putting it on some guy you really trust. But I use a Radiant and Reverb debuff set like I was talking about earlier. In Act 1, I really didn't have any of that gear, so first off, go ahead, apply Longstrider to you and your team. It's a totally free cast. It's called a ritual spell. It's going to give you 10 movement to everybody. You really want that utility. Shillelagh is going to let you use your bonus action. And then for 10 turns, I can attack with my main hand, Stick, and it actually uses Wisdom. See? So wisdom damage and accuracy, that's really useful. It makes it so I can actually hit people with my wisdom, okay? So I cast Star Map Guiding Bolts because why not? They're for free. I get a couple of them early on and they're level 1 anyway. Okay, Moonbeam is amazing, especially early on, but you can even upcast this. But either way, you can hold concentration on that pretty well with the dragon form. That's some great area denial and damage. Use the archer form. Honestly, in the early game, I really like the archer form more because I can use my bonus action for a ranged attack, right? So I'll use this and attack from far away, and it goes off of your, like, it's almost exactly like an archery attack, but it's using wisdom instead. And it even gets a bonus from wisdom. So Fairy Fire for all allies. You can use Fairy Fire in the early game to hit an area and make everybody have advantage when you go to attack them, so that's pretty nice. But otherwise, when we move into Act 2, you should have a lot of the luminous gear, and you'll be finding these rings in the Act 2 Shadowlands, okay? So we use more dragon form because we have way better stuff to concentrate on, like Wall of Fire. We have the spike growth. We have well, not plant growth, but we have like more high-powered moonbeams and so on and so forth. Okay, so concentration spells plus the little bonus breath attack is really awesome, and you'll be using it a lot more than you think you will. Okay, and then you're more deliberate with your spell use. You're going to stop trying to be so conservative. You're probably not relying on Shilly, but that's always going to be a nice baseline. And then concentration on walls and moonbeams, like I said, is really the key. With the dragon form, you'll probably never get knocked out of it. And keep tossing out the free guiding bolts. Use them while you got them. In fact, now at level 6 is the time you get these cosmic omens. Just throw them out. If I know how to make this really simple, throw them out there. Don't worry about wasting them. Use them when you think you should. That's pretty simple. I want to keep it simple. That's what you need. So plant growth is also amazing. Like I said, eventually you'll get something like freedom of movement, but you can even just use this. It requires no concentration, and it's the highest movement speed debuff. It's quarters movement for anybody stuck in this. That could be really good control as long as it doesn't get burned. And use the Dryad, because once again, this is the best thing about Druid sometimes, is you have free cast of spike growth, and you don't have to concentrate on it. There we go. Boom. And just keep casting it, keep repositioning it, because it doesn't cost anything for the Dryad once you have it out.
Let me guess.
All right. So Act 3, there's tons of guiding bolts now, and you can upcast them. You have tons of casts of this. It's your bread and butter spell plus the free level 1s. Use Sunbeam and Dragon. Well, if it was working, you can concentrate 10 turns of using that Kamehameha Blast. If somebody hasted you or used the Speed Pot, you can blast everybody in a big line. It's amazing. And with the Dragon form, you'll very rarely get knocked out of concentration and lose that powerful spell. So Dragon Breath is only better and better the higher your wisdom is, so use that in conjunction with Sunbeam. Dragon now gets the ability to fly. At level 10, all of your forms get upgraded to more damage or more healing. Okay, so you really want to form swap like I'm doing right now. Once per turn, you can switch your forms to, say, the Chalice from the Dragon, but you can only do it once per turn, so keep in mind in combat what you want to be swapping and leaving at the end of that combat. Okay, so Hero's Feast. Hero's Feast is a really good buff at the beginning of the day. It can do a lot. It can give you and your summons and your allies a lot of extra HP, and as well as wisdom saving throw advantages. And finally, there's some even more powerful spells you can concentrate on for area denial, like Insect Plague or Thorn Wall, which is pretty rare. You don't see this a lot. This is actually very, very strong and stacks with a lot of stuff too. So keep that in mind. As for multiclassing and even a leveling guide, so to speak, look for the stars. I know that's funny, but look for the stars. That's really where I recommend the best breakpoint, so to speak. If you want to use this subclass and you're leveling into it and now you want to jump to something else, look for the stars, because level 2, when you get the dang thing, is amazing, right? You can really just focus in on, I want to say the dragon form mostly, but this is such a cool ability that at level 2 you really have one of the most front-loaded subclass amazing abilities right then and there with all 3 forms. So I highly recommend, if you want to jump into another subclass or take this later, 2 levels of Star Druid is amazing. Okay, so Long Strider, you get that as well as the bonus guiding bolts and you get some decent spell selection on top of that, right? Level 3, you actually get your level 2 spell slots, right? As well as your level 2 spells. Namely, you get the Hold spell, or Flame Blade, or Moonbeam, Spike Growth, Enhance Ability. Some really good selections here. So it is a good multi-class breakpoint, because I can see Flame Blade with the concentration of Dragon going into, say, the new Blade Singer. That's definitely going to be a popular choice, right? So level 5, we have level 3 spell slots. I don't really think you should break out of this class just yet. More bonus guiding bolts. You do get Plant Growth, Sleet Storm, which is hilarious against skeletons, by the way. Call Lightning, so some pretty powerful spells there. Level 6, though, you finally get those Cosmic Omens, right? You get a decent amount of them per day. Depending on when you start the day, it'll either be, not start the day, but it'll be random when you start a new long rest period, if it's for allies or for enemies, but just use them, right? And so I think you could probably break away. You have 6 more levels to jump into another subclass or class, and you can have some fun with the Cosmic Omen and everything else we mentioned. Level 7, though, you get level 4 spell slots. You finally get that Dryad I was talking about over here. You have Freedom of Movement, which is, don't sleep on it. It's a permanent long rest ability for you or your ally. It's Firewall. Firewall is a great spell for controlling an area denial and damage. And then there's level 8, so might be a pretty good jump off point just because of everything we talked about. You have 4 more levels to spec into something else, plus you get your second feat here, so you can take Alert and jump into a new class. Now, level 9, you have level 5 spell slots, you got more Omens, you have the Elemental Summon, the Insect Swarm, and some more bonus guiding bolts. So I don't think you want to leave this, since you're so close to level 10, where you can now freely change your form once per turn in combat, and you're not wasting your wild shape charges, because that can actually get really detrimental and keep you from that versatility if you don't know how to manage these very well. Okay, so level 10 is awesome. It feels great to reach this point where I can now use all the forms how I see fit. I could even be a little more nerdy and change my gear on the fly depending on what battle I go into. That's the Druid way versatility, right? So star forms are now upgraded, and you can change them based on once per combat, changing them for free without using wild shape charges. So level 11, your level 6 spell slot now. You can have Sunbeam, Hero's Feast, even Thornwall. But I don't know if you really want to multi-class. I think you missed the boat right here. And then level 12, you're getting your 3rd feat. You did multi-class. You're here, you're at the peak of the valley, and everything's pretty awesome, okay? So is there some useful tech and info I could give you before you jump in with this? So I found a lot in my playthrough and testing with you guys in chat. Use your bonus guiding bolts. Seriously, they're free. Just throw them out there. It's a free attack as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't eat up your spell slots, or it lets you use your spell slots on something else, okay? Star forms, by the way, these are lost when you change areas. I think I can demonstrate this really quickly if you allow me. I'll go to Rivington right now, and I'm pretty sure I just lose the form, meaning I have to use my wild shape charges. So we'll get back to Jaheira on that in a moment. So you'll lose these if you change areas like Rivington, Lower City. You lose it if you get downed, like 0 HP, and someone has to pick you back up. You'll lose it then. Bonus action cast, okay? So if you forget to use it and it's now combat, you can still use it as a bonus action. Don't be too disheartened. But before level 10, you have to dismiss the form, and then you can change forms and recast it. So as you can see here, Jaheira lost her Star Druid form and would have to go in here and change forms. Ta-da! Okay, so just a little caveat I really want to share with you, because it was annoying to find that out. So no cost if you dismissed it. It doesn't take an action or a bonus action to dismiss the forms, but it will cost the wild shape charge to recast. So keep that in mind when changing forms. Abilities cannot be used more than once per turn, so don't go thinking you can use Thief to use your bonus action attacks like the Starry Dragon form or the Archer form. So all forms change spell modifier on multiclassing. I have tested plenty of times and confirmed this. So the last new last new class you take, this is such a confusing topic, so we'll keep it simple. Whatever last level 1 class you took in your multiclass changes the spell modifier. This is important because if I was, say, the dragon form, this dragon breath form spell, not only is the accuracy but the bonus damage, it's currently based on my wisdom spell. If I multi-class out of druid and say sorcerer was my next class, my next level 1 class, my new class, it's going to be charisma. Likewise, if druid is your next level 1 new class, it's going to become wisdom, and that's how it works, okay? Level 10 lets you freely swap forms, but only once per turn in combat. Dragon, by the way, is amazing for multi-classes that really want powerful concentration, like say Spirit Guardians on my Star Cleric I'm running. So essentially, proficiency and Warcaster are combined into the ultimate concentration ability. So please don't go thinking you have to overdo it. Honestly, if you're in this form, it's kind of enough with a little bit of bonuses. You really don't have to overdo it, and you'll always have concentration. Just don't get hit, obviously, or don't fall prone. So, not a spell or meta magic. So what I'm talking about here is the Dragon Breath. This is not considered a spell, and therefore doesn't benefit. Can't be twinned, can't be meta magic. But the Archer form, very interesting. Something I found is it's great for a bonus attack in the early game, and just in general. Don't bother with going with Thief. You can only shoot this thing out once per turn. Doesn't matter, it's a hard limit. It is a spell, a level 1 spell specifically for the Bladesinger Climax and anything else that's concerned, and therefore it can be twinned and meta magic and all that fun stuff, but it is already a bonus action. Chalice, you must be using a leveled spell, such as the Healing Ward, which is great because it doesn't... Chalice Heal doesn't use an action or a bonus action, but you do need to expend a spell slot heal, okay? This means that Warden Vitality actually doesn't work with the Chalice form's extra bonus heal, okay? It is great with the ring and the gloves that give a bonus, so you could be using these Reviving Hands rings or the Whispering, or Reviving Hands for Blade Ward, or the Whispering Ring for the bonus bless, okay? But you must be using a leveled spell to heal somebody, and I think you can see it over here, it'll light up, and now I can heal again. There we go. Ta-da! And it gets a bonus from your current spell modifier. So, Cosmic Omen also is very random. It deserves its own video to an extent. It'll affect either Woe affects enemies or Wheel affects friends. It's random at the beginning of the day. Similar to Bard, Inspire, or Cutting Words, so you use it on your reaction. And it does have a little bit of a, like, Cosmic Omen charges, so you can only use it so many times per day, okay? Now, use reactions, but don't just sleep on them. Just use them, in my opinion. Set it to reaction tabs so you can use them. Let the game ask you if you want to save your allies or hurt your enemies, right? Also, Moonbeam, once again, does not get affected by any of the gear I've talked about. I know this is very Radiant based, but this little area right here is not getting bonuses for walking into it, right? None of the things I just did there on my gear are affecting by Moonbeam, or vice versa. Okay? But it's amazing for the Sharon BS that you encounter in Act 2, so keep that in mind. So how do you play and level this? Why didn't I really have any gameplay clips or anything? It's because I have older videos showing that kind of stuff, builds, breakdowns, stuff like that. We've gone into answers to your questions. Well, how does this work? How does that work? So more detail in there. Plus, in the new subclasses runs, I have playlists on my live section of the channel, total runs of honor mode, and I think it's subclasses only. Run number 1 is we played the Star Druid, and I had an amazing time with it. I love this subclass. So come join the live stream to check this stuff out. I'm currently running 2 levels of Star Druid to make my Light Cleric amazing. Okay, so just come ask questions in the chat or the comments, right? And you guys are ultimately my sponsor, so thank you so much for watching. I gotta make another quick guide video, so thank you so much. I appreciate your support, and I'll be back at it in just a moment.